Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my August favorites, but before we get into that, I have to say I am so excited for summer to be over. Okay, I know, summer doesn't officially end until roughly the end of September, but for me, September 1st means the start of fall. The weather has already started to get cooler and I am so excited because I can't stand the summer. I know there are plenty of you out there who love it, but I can't stand it. I'm just so sick of being hot and sweaty and uncomfortable. Ugh, that's just me throughout the summer, just completely uncomfortable. So I'm very happy that it's now September. And with that out of the way, let's get on to what my actual favorites are. I'm so sorry if you actually like the summer. I know there's a lot of you out there, but I can't hack it. Anyway, favorites. I'm gonna talk about a foundation brush first. It's dirty, because I didn't clean it before I was filming this, and I have to discuss about how much I love this foundation brush. I have never been especially good at applying foundation without a sponge. I feel like every time I have used a brush, it just looks terrible on my face. It doesn't matter what the foundation is, it doesn't matter which brush I have used, because heaven knows that I've tried at least 5 different kinds of brushes, and every single time they have just left foundation streaks on my face or patchiness, or I don't know, everything that you could think would look bad with foundation has looked bad when I have used brushes, except for this one. This is the Aqua HD foundation brush. It's the strangest shape and it's incredibly small, and I literally thought this was going to be a joke when I put this on my face. It's got kind of like an angle to it, and I mean, it's very tiny. Look how small that is in comparison to my face versus like the giant sponges I keep using to apply my foundation. But there's something with the bristles and the shape of it that work really well. I just drag it, the foundation, all over my face and there's no brush marks. Like, what's going on? I don't understand how this works, and nothing else I have tried has ever worked, but this one is truly fantastic. I've used it with 4 different kinds of foundations now, just to like reassure myself that it was a good brush and not just like this one foundation that it miraculously worked with. And no, this works with everything. I do still really like applying my foundation with a sponge, but sometimes my sponge is dirty and I want to use a brush. So I've been reaching for this one, which you can tell because this one's now dirty and now I need to wash it. But it's great, it's so good. This has completely changed my mind about foundation brushes to apply foundation. So I'm really excited. You can find Aqua at Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada. They don't sell outside of Canada though, so you really have to be here because their website won't sell outside of the country either. But if you're Canadian or you're visiting Canada and you're looking for a foundation brush, go try this sucker out. It is so, so good. The next product I'm going to talk about is a palette that took me so long to actually get my hands on, and I did just recently reviewed it, so you may have already seen it on my channel, but it's the Violet Voss Sugar Crystals palette. I have already mentioned that we didn't get this in Canada for a very long time. This launched in the US, I feel like it was February 28th, and I thought for sure it was going to be on Sephora Canada, so I was like logged on that day, ready to buy the palette because I could see it on screen. And it has said coming soon or out of stock since February 28th. And even to this day, it's like September 2nd or something, it's still not showing in stock on Sephora Canada. However, you can go and buy it in stores. I don't really understand why the warehouse doesn't have any stock to ship it online, because that's how I prefer to buy my products. But if you've been looking for this palette and waiting for it to come in stock online, don't waste your time, just go to your local Sephora to find it. So with that rant out of the way, can we talk about just how pretty this thing is? So first of all, when I first saw the collection of shadows, I was really drawn towards it because it is a rainbow, and as we have discussed many a time now, I'm very drawn towards rainbow colors in a palette just because I find it very appealing. However, the rainbow aesthetic of it was gorgeous to me, but I was initially concerned that there wasn't going to be enough depth to this palette because the top row is so vibrant and bright. Like, those are not deep colors. And then obviously the bottom 2 rows are duochrome shimmers that kind of have a little bit of an ivory cast to them, but they're also not quite deep. And I do tend to point out that I like when my palettes have a little bit of a depth of variety because I do like a deeper tone in my outer corner. And this one really doesn't have something like that. So I was initially concerned that this was going to be bright and fun to play with, but that I wouldn't find enough dimension to it. However, I filmed my video with the 5 different looks and I loved it for that palette review, but I've continued to play with it even past that palette review. And maybe that sounds a little bit strange, but as somebody who is on YouTube and is constantly reviewing products, you find that you usually have to put something aside, even though you've just used it and just loved it, in order to start playing with something else in order to showcase that on your channel. But I found myself going back to this repeatedly over other new products just because it's so much fun to play with. The ways I've really been enjoying playing with this the most are honestly just sticking to a monochromatic color scheme. So in one of my most recent videos, I was wearing literally just the green row on my eyes. I had the palest one on the inner corner of the eye, the medium shade one on my lid, and then the matte color all along my crease and outer corner, and the look was beautiful. And honestly, it was one of the simplest eye looks to do because it's really only 3 shadows from one palette. And that's fun to do with all of the colors in here. I've done it with just the blue row, just the purple row, and just the orange row, and oh, even the pink. I think I did that for the 5 looks for that video review as well. It's beautiful. It is so much fun to play with. The colors are just luminescent and vibrant and glorious. I'm really, really in love with the middle row of colors. I think that is the strong part of this palette. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the whole thing in general, but I think that really adds the extra fun pop to this palette. Some of them have a little bit more of a shift to them, like this orange one has a bit of a gold reflect to it. Sweet and Sour also has a blue gold shift to it. Grape is like a blue purple. I can't talk about this palette enough because it is so much fun to use. And it's not only visually appealing, but it makes fantastic eye looks. And you know what? I've started to realize that Violet Voss really just kind of knocks it out of the park over and over again for me. I don't think I have very many palettes from them that I don't like. I wasn't in love with the Holy Grail one when I first got it, but all the launches after that have been phenomenal. I'm really, really loving this brand. And it's not like the brand is especially new to me. I've been aware of them for quite a few years, but their recent palette launches have me super intrigued. So I really like this one. I've got the other, what's it called? Bright Vibes palette. I can't wait to start playing with that. Violet Voss is doing good things, guys. The next 2 products I'm gonna sort of talk about together because they're favorites, but it's because I use them in a particular way that I really enjoy together. So the first one is a highlighter by Makeup Revolution, and the other one here is the ColourPop Glitterly Obsessed. So I was given this Makeup Revolution strobe highlighter in the shade Northern Lights by my friend Dominica when I met her in England. She gave me a bunch of products. It was really sweet. And she chose products that she really enjoyed on herself, and she gave me quite a few green highlighters, which was fun because she really likes the color green on herself and it looks beautiful. I hadn't played with this for a little bit because I was worried about using colorful highlighters on my slightly tanned skin from the summer. I don't tend to like colorful highlighters as much on myself in the summer as much as I do in the winter time, and I think it's just because when my skin gets a little bit deeper, I think the colors look a little bit strange on me. But I pulled this one out recently to use even though I am a little bit more tan, and I did like how it looked. So I really enjoyed the consistency of this color, and it's funny because I don't know why I've never picked them up. I've had a few friends around me raving about these highlighters for about 2 years now, and they've got a bunch of different colors. There's like a gold, I think there's a lavender shift, but this green called Northern Lights is really pretty. And what I've been doing is layering that on my highlight area and then layering it on top with a glitter. It's a little bit excessive, and I have to say this is one of those things that I would not wear to work. I wear a lot of things to work that I think most people would not wear to the office, but star glitter on top of a colorful highlighter is not something that I would put on my cheeks to go to the office. So this Glitterly Obsessed is called You're a Firework, and it's described as a holographic silver glitter. There's chunks in here of like stars, and is a hexagon the 6-sided one? I hope so. So there's hexagon shapes, there is star shapes, and then there's little glitter particles. And I've just layered this on top of my cheekbone, and then I put this directly on top of it. I think I patted it out with a finger, and I was so happy with how my highlighter looked. when I did that. It's a lot of fun to do. It looks like a lot, and some people may not be into it either because it does make your cheekbone look kind of chunky. I mean, frankly, it's gonna do that because you're putting chunky glitter on that area, but I just liked the overall effect of it. It was something different, and it was nice to play with something new as a combination. I mean, I do like this color on its own, but putting these two together just kind of made me feel like a fairy. I don't really know why I like that aesthetic so much, the kind of like chunky glitter fairy-esque thing, but I do. And these two together were a lot of fun. I really liked how that looked. The very last two items I'm going to talk about are something that sadly you can't get your hands on anymore as far as I'm aware, because I don't think Soap & Glory makes them anymore, but these were so popular quite a few years ago that some of you may still have them in your collection. And they are the Soap & Glory Sexy Motherpucker Gloss Crayons. I have the shades Raplumzel and Nudist. Nudist was the one that everybody had back in the day. I think the British YouTubers made this thing famous back then. And I really don't know why they've discontinued it, because they're fantastic and so many people were purchasing them, but I mean, I guess times have changed. So this is just one of those chubby crayon gloss sticks. It does go on very glossy. It smells really good too. It's kind of like a vanilla sort of caramel scent. And it doesn't have a great amount of longevity, to be honest, but it is one of those easy to apply lip products that you can just slap on and go. I obviously wear a lot of bright eyeshadow regularly, and sometimes I don't always know what kind of lip color to pair with it, because although I do want to wear a bright lip color with a bright eyeshadow look, it can look like a lot all at once. So I've been really enjoying Nudist in particular because I mean, it's basically just a little bit of a lip color tint. It's not a huge amount of color, but it does provide a really nice shine. So I've been wearing this one with a lot of different colorful eye looks, but I've been wearing Raplumzel more specifically with anything that's got a little bit of a pinky red mauve tone. You can see there's a lot more color on that one than there is compared to Nudist. And they're just really nice. These two products are a little bit old at this point, but they don't smell funny and they're not behaving any differently. So if you have these in your collection, I would still pull them out because they're not doing anything terrible to my lips, but I really enjoy them. They smell good, they feel good, they look glossy, and they're just really easy to apply. So I'm sad that they've discontinued these. I really don't know why they've done that, but they're really nice. I really like these. All right, so that is it for my monthly favorite. Those are the products that I have been enjoying the most throughout the month of August. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.